kicked us out of Primanti Bros. They said it's a problem.
You are terrible people.
Tell us again, what happened at Primanti Brothers?
They kicked us out of Primanti Brothers so that they could get the paid actors inside.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
So there's all the paid actors.
Look at all these people. My God.
Holy hell. All these actors in these vans.
I know.
They can't even afford actors.
Get right out of town.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a shocking but not so shocking story involving the Kamala Harris campaign that seems to be straight out of a Hollywood script, okay? Because everything is scripted about this campaign, even when it comes to dinners and getting a bag of chips at the store, or even something like the phone call that Kamala Harris made to Tim Walz to tell him that he's going to be the VP.
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President. The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, it'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
Well, let me tell you, I have just the utmost respect for you. I have really enjoyed our work together. You understand our country. You have dedicated yourself to our country in so many different and beautiful ways. And we're going to do this. We're going to win. And we're going to unify our country and remind everyone that we are fighting for the future for everyone. So let's get out there and get this done, okay?
Let's do it. Do the work in front of us. Let's win this thing.
That's right. All right, buddy. I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Is all scripted, okay? Is all run through ahead of time, rehearsed, and practiced, okay? Just like Hollywood, just like a movie, okay? I think that Kamala Harris is running an influencer campaign. The only interview she's done thus far is with Tim Walz, her VP, and during this cringe interview, you could tell a lot of it was extremely scripted because they were trying to play up on these fake racial stereotypes about how white people don't season their food, which is what Tim Walz was playing into, and Kamala Harris is playing into this idea that she grew up authentically black.
No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know.
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
Well, trying to expand my food knowledge.
You know what, we've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, I called you,
I was hoping
Tim.
maybe we wouldn't have to.
I called you, Tim.
Yes.
You didn't answer, Tim.
I know.
What happened?
The most important call of my life. It popped up, and we didn't recognize the caller ID, and it went to voicemail.
Hi, this is Tim. I'm not able to answer.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hey, Tim, it's Kamala. I really want to talk to you. Grew up, you know, so all these albums here, I mean, Aretha. My mother had every Aretha album, and like our Christmas gift to my mother, her birthday gift was always like, what's the latest Aretha Franklin record?
So it's on vinyl in your house as a background.
All of it.
Wow.
All that and Stevie. And then Miles, and my dad loved jazz, and so it was Miles, it was Coltrane. One of my personal favorite musicians for when I was younger was Prince.
Oh.
And of course from your estate.
Yeah.
And he, you know, in fact, I'll tell you, so my husband Doug and I'm more of a hip hop girl.
Yep.
He's more of Depeche Mode.
Oh yeah. Oh, but at the same time.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah,
you
no,
and he
of
like
course.
the same music.
Of course.
But Prince, you know, in the Venn diagram of things, Prince, he and I love the same, because, I mean, talk about how Prince was with that guitar, man. I almost know by heart every one of those.
Yeah, so Tim, no seasoning Walz, okay, with Kamala Harris, who grew up as a hip hop girl, okay, listening to Aretha Franklin every single day and Stevie Wonder, right? This is the same woman that claimed that she was listening to Tupac in college while smoking weed, okay, getting high. She's probably still high, to be quite honest with you. She sound high, she look high every time she talk, right? This is the type of stuff that an influencer does, right? When you see all these TikToks of these people getting up in the morning, you know, these perfectly choreographed videos of them eating breakfast, going to the gym, doing work, all that stuff is staged, man. They all rehearsed it. They, you know, recorded it multiple times. And it's really sad to think about. It really is, okay? But that is how Kamala Harris is running her campaign. That's exactly what she's doing. She's taking a page out of the fake influencer life playbook. I think stories like this really drive home that point, okay? Because she angered a whole lot of people, including Trump supporters, after she allegedly staged an event at a diner in which she had to kick out all of the regular customers, the real customers who were at this diner, okay? They were eating. And then all of a sudden they were told, I think around 4 o'clock, that, hey, you guys got to go, right? Last call. So imagine going out to eat with your families and all of a sudden you're told, no, you got to go, right? You got to leave. We're kicking you out because Kamala Harris is coming, right? And Kamala wants her own people to come into the restaurant to sit down and eat. And you can't be a part of it, okay? So you got to go, wrap it up, leave. That is essentially what this restaurant did to a group of diners who were enjoying lunch, and that pissed a lot of people off, okay? To the point where Trump supporters were outside of the restaurant protesting when Kamala Harris pulled up to the diner for the staged event. So I want to go ahead and show the clip from the staged event, because once you actually see the clip, you just realize just how fake and phony Kamala Harris actually is, because they try their best to make this seem authentic and real, but knowing that it's not is actually pretty scary to think about. Take a look.
Follow me. Thank you. Thank you. Press go around. Thank you. Press go around. Thank you. Press go around.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Bring it home back. Absolutely.
Sorry. Thank you. You just push back a little bit.
Goodness, have you been reading it? You have? There we go. Because I'm counting on you to be a leader, okay? Yes. When do you start school again? Tuesday, you ready?
I'm gonna drop early. You need to. You're not losing.
Yeah, so apparently all of this was staged. All those people that you see there are either paid actors or volunteers for the Kamala Harris campaign who decided to get on a bus and come to this diner just to meet and greet Kamala Harris. Instead of Kamala Harris being authentic and just going into a diner of random people and just being there and meeting and greeting them, no. They had to bust in their own people. Now, what is the reason why she had to do this? Well, it's obvious. Well, the reason why is because she couldn't take the risk of having the news and the media come to an event where Kamala Harris is at, and then she walks to the diner and she gets absolutely booed, okay? Booed out the diner, okay? Just like she got booed as she pulled up to this diner after kicking out these people. So, again, a lot of people upset with this. Diners tear into Kamala Harris's campaign for kicking them out of Pittsburgh restaurant to bus in their own crowd for a campaign stunt. A group of diners sitting down to enjoy Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania's famous Primanti Bros sandwiches were surprised and outraged Saturday after they were told by staff to leave by 4 p.m. It was a typical Saturday afternoon as a handful of patrons sat down for beers, food, and baseball, but were soon disrupted thanks to a visit from Vice President Kamala Harris. Around 3:30, the bartender goes, "It's last call." "What do you mean last call?" patron Mark Dobson said to Fox News reporter Charles Creets. Staff told patrons that they would have to leave due to a, quote, private event, which turned out to be a campaign stop for Kamala Harris. Again, they can't even do it real, right? They can't even do a real campaign stop, okay? She can't just pull up to a random restaurant and just walk in and be loved, right? Which, again, you would think that would be the case, according to the mainstream liberal media, according to all the fake polls, right, that show Kamala Harris as a very popular individual, more popular than she was when she was just VP and not the presidential nominee. Yeah, you would think she'd be able to do that, but she can't, okay? Why can't she do that? It's because the hype, the support is fake. And I'm not saying all of it is fake. I'm not saying the crowds are fake. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm just saying that there's not as much support out there for her as the mainstream liberal media and the polls are suggesting, okay? Because if she actually did have hardcore supporters like that, then she wouldn't have to do this. I don't think Trump's ever had to do this. Even when Trump pulled up to a Harlem bodega, okay? This guy, he was met with love, affection, and real support. It was organic, okay? It was organic. He didn't have to bust anybody in. He didn't have to stage anything. He didn't have to do any of that stuff. But for whatever reason, Kamala Harris has to do that. Again, it tells you everything you need to know. A group of supporters of former President Donald Trump gathered outside the restaurant to boo Harris and wave signs and Trump flags as the vice president and her team arrived at the famous establishment. Yeah, as they should. As they should. I mean, you kick people out who were eating lunch, right? Maybe some people even did it. But you kick these people out for what, right? For Kamala Harris to bring in fake supporters? It really is shameful. And I wonder how much they paid this restaurant to do this, right? How much they paid this restaurant to kick out their real customers and to bring in fake customers. I don't think this was a good business move, okay? If I was this restaurant's owner, I would have strongly considered not doing it because I feel like if I was a frequent customer of this restaurant and I got kicked out for Kamala Harris to bring in fake people, I would be pissed, right? I would probably consider not eating at that restaurant again. Okay, because it's a very rude thing to do, right? It's extremely rude to kick people out as they're eating, to bring in some fake, campaign event for Kamala Harris. I mean, it's one thing if this was warned about ahead of time, right? They said, listen, in 3 or 4 days, we're having this private event. The restaurant's going to be closed. I get that, right? No problems, okay? But if this is something that caught people by surprise because it just came up out of nowhere, then yeah, I would strongly consider not going back to this restaurant because I think it's extremely disrespectful to the people who really make the business successful, which are the reoccurring customers. Quote, they kicked us out of Primanti Bros. One man commented as a person in the crowd filmed a caravan of over a dozen unmarked Ford Transit vans arrived to the location. Quote, look at all the paid actors. Other people in the pro-Trump crowd shouted, all these actors in these vans. Quote, for Kamala Harris's visit to Primanti's this afternoon, they kicked out all of the customers at 4 p.m. so they could bring in their own audience. Republican Committee of Allegheny County Chairman Sam DeMarco III wrote on social media, sharing a video of the crowd. Quote, look at all the white vans, he added, keep that in mind as you see video of them interacting inside. Yeah, it's shameful. It really is. It's disgusting, to be quite honest with you. Vice President Kamala Harris stepped out of her campaign bus at about 6 p.m. and entered the restaurant where a group of adoring fans and campaign media welcomed her and snapped pictures. Second gentleman, Doug Inhofe, also appeared at the restaurant and spoke with what appeared to be local diners who were very polite and excited to see them. Yeah, so again, paid actors, not people who are genuinely, excited or anything like that. These are people who are paid to be excited. Okay, when you got to pay for this type of support, that means that you're probably not a very likable or popular person. At one point, a woman directs Harris to meet some of our additional supporters, which included a young girl whom Harris warmly greeted and commented on her book she was holding. She spoke to the girl about school and said she was counting on you to be a leader as staffers took pictures of the interaction. Again, 100% staged. 100% staged. A second staffer then directs Harris to meet a volunteer as the vice president took a photo with the couple. It's common for candidates to make stops at local restaurants while on the campaign trail, as Secret Service sometimes makes security sweeps in advance. Sometimes campaign volunteers get advance notice of events as they typically position themselves to meet their political hero and snag a photo. Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? Kamala Harris's campaign is fake. And you know what this reminds me of, guys? This reminds me of a story that I had saw recently about North Korean state television, okay? There was this guy that accidentally stumbled across North Korean state television as he was, I don't know, using some satellite thing. I'm not entirely sure how he did it, but he took a glimpse at what the propaganda is over there. And again, it's kind of similar to the propaganda that's being put out by the Kamala Harris campaign, right? In the sense that everything they do is scripted, right? You don't see anything that they don't want you to see. They pretend as if Kamala Harris is the greatest thing ever, but none of it is really authentic or organic, okay? It is designed to brainwash you into believing something that's not real, okay? Which is that, hey, Kamala Harris has all these organic and authentic supporters out there, and she could just pull up to any, restaurant or bar or whatever, and she's going to get a standing ovation, and people are going to love her, and that she's this great individual. But that's just simply not the case. If it was the case, they wouldn't have to do this. But what they're trying to do is that they're trying to brainwash people into believing Kamala Harris is something that she's not. And this is something that is only going to get worse if Kamala Harris wins, okay? We're going to live in a world where I think you're going to have a lot of things that are going to be completely 100% scripted coming from the White House, and is going to trickle down into the state media, okay? Because the media essentially has acted as an arm of the Democrat Party. They've been complicit in the cover-up of Joe Biden, and a lot of this started with Joe Biden because they had to script a lot of things for Joe Biden. So they're now just applying that playbook to Kamala Harris, okay? And I think that's what Democrats are going to do moving forward, is that their candidate will truly be a puppet, right? I mean, they don't even go out and eat without it being scripted by some handler telling them what to do and what to say, right? You're not voting for Kamala Harris. When you go out and vote, you're voting for whoever is running the show. It could be Obama, it can be Pelosi, it can be Hillary. I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is that this type of stuff doesn't play well with the American people. The fakeness, the phoniness, the inauthenticity, yeah, that doesn't play well with people. And I think a lot of people can get turned off when they see that, okay, everything that this woman is doing is fake. Like, there's nothing real about this individual. What does she actually really believe? I think a lot of stuff is going to backfire. I think one of the reasons why people love Trump is because they know that, okay, Trump is authentic. I might not like everything the guy says, but if he says it, then he probably believes it. And that goes very far with a lot of people, especially in the world of politics where, again, we know that these politicians are fake, but Kamala Harris is taking the fakeness to a whole different level, right? She's taking the fakeness to the level of, again, some North Korea type propaganda that I'm afraid is going to trickle into the state media. That's what you're going to see. You're going to start to get this type of stuff on a broad scale where everything is staged, again, just like in North Korea. And you really don't know what to believe, right? You don't know what to believe at all. And that's scary stuff, okay? It really is. And nobody should be surprised by this because Kamala has already shown that she's a communist, okay? So for her to take a page out of the playbook of somebody like Kim Jong-un, to me is not really surprising. But, this is where we're at, okay? This is where we're at in American politics, where this type of fakeness, this type of influencer type campaign is what politicians are doing now. And it just rubs me the wrong way, man. It really does. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.